Today's guest on Splitting the House is Robert Desjardins out of the Saguenay region in Quebec. Robert has created and has really been the driving force behind the Goldline Mixed Doubles Tour in the province of Quebec. Bob, I'd like to welcome you to the show and thank you for all the work you've done in putting together a grassroots mixed doubles tour to really get the sport off the ground in Quebec. And, I think it's really amazing to see the results of it. And, of course, your first event is this weekend, the Tour Championship.
Well, Jerry, thanks for having me on the show. It's really fun to be here. First weekend of curling, basically in Quebec. First spiels that we get in Quebec. Really happy to see things getting back to somewhere close to normal. But we'll be able to play curling. That's what matters the most. First of all, a big thank you to the Jacques Cartier Curling Club. I contacted them in June or July, and with the pandemic, a lot of curling clubs were pretty scared about, moving forward and hosting events and stuff like that. But I've worked pretty hard at contacting different curling clubs and telling them, let's just set up dates. And if it doesn't work, we'll cancel. But just try to prepare like normal. And by doing it really early in June and July, I think it helped. And also, to talk about people, to tell them we're going to do it the right way. If there's different health issues, different things we have to do, we'll just manage it so it's safe for everybody. And especially for the curling club members that will go back to their curling club on Monday after the curling tournaments are held.
Yeah, I think that certainly needs to be, top of the list as to the approach when these events are going. I know these are discussions that we've had quite significantly over the last few months as well. And not only first curling in Quebec, but looks like it's going to be first competitive curling event in Canada. So this is pretty exciting to get it off the ground and, have some actual live curling going on.
Well, the Jacques Cartier, in the province of Quebec, each curling club had to vote, name a committee to take care of the COVID-19 with, what are they going to do in their curling club. So I asked them, as soon as it's ready, send it to me, and then I'll work with you guys to make sure everything is there and everything is safe for everybody. And also, knowing by hosting already like more than 10 mixed doubles events, how it works, where people move, where they go, at what time. And we figure out, we've had just a few things out there to make sure that it's safe and there's not a lot of people in the same area at the same time. But I mean, you can still do a lot of things and being very safe. Like we're even going to have a dinner on Saturday night, but the only thing is we're going to have it like we split half and half. Half the people will eat while the other ones are playing, and then the other ones will eat when the other ones are going back on the ice. So by doing that, it respects very easily, and with even some room available to make sure that we respect the distance.
Yeah, I think mixed doubles as a discipline in the sport is set up really well for social distancing. Your pairs of two. There's more room out on the ice, which then leads to more room inside the building and everything that comes with that as well. And it's sort of something I was expecting to see more interest in mixed doubles going forward this season. We haven't seen that yet in Canada or the United States, but I think there's a real opportunity once we start to see the realities of what curling clubs look like, what events look like, that we might see a few more people give that game a go.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to run like 16 teams mixed doubles. It's only 32 players. Even if you do like 4-on-4 with 16 teams, then you're already at 64 players. So it's already quite a bit more to manage. But you're right, mixed double is a perfect fit for this particular situation. We don't even need to do like different time for draws. Like on 4-on-4 players, usually you'll probably with the COVID like split like sheet A and C, and then B and D will go on 30 minutes later or something like that. But in mixed doubles, we don't even have to do that. Like it's not enough people, and we can the practices, one team practice. Like in Jacques Cartier, what we'll do, the first team will practice downstairs, the second team will practice upstairs. And once the first team gets on the ice, the other team goes down and look at the first team practice. Once the practice is over, they'll leave from stairs that goes straight to the locker room, and the other team goes on the ice. So they won't even be crossing each other at any time during the full practice. So it's really an easy fit, but you just have to think about it and make it clear for the players. It's not going to be perfect, but I think what's important is to manage the risk. If everybody does what he can and try to respect the rules that we've put on as much as they can, even if it's not perfect, it should be enough.
Yeah, when you look at COVID protocols and everything that comes with it, it's really about just decreasing the numbers. Anywhere you can limit interactions is a benefit. So doing something here, doing something there just adds to the pile at the end of the day. So everything you put together and put in place certainly helps. And I know there's been a lot of planning going into it, and I'm looking forward to seeing the result. When we talk about the Goldline Tour in general, I know this is something that you have sort of been building towards over the last probably 4 or 5 years now. I know you got some smaller mixed doubles events going in Quebec. This is the type of event that helps build a base of competitors, which down the road will then allow for a region to be able to support bigger events as you build up teams, as you build up experience and competitors interested in playing in some bigger events. And I think this is something, I'd love to see more regions sort of reach out and work on doing something similar as what you are. We've got the Cottrells in Ontario who've done a great job. Sherry Just, and I know Steve Laycock was involved a little bit. Ryan Dice in Saskatchewan. These are areas where the doubles discipline is being built by the grassroots competitors of the sport. And what for regions who haven't done so yet, Bob, what do you think is the holding them back, and what do you think is something that they can do to get this started fairly easily?
Well, it's what you need is you need like a top curler, like a top mixed double curler or a decent mixed double team that really wants to grow the sport in their own area. Basically, that's what happened with me and Emily and Veronique also, my wife. We were playing at a provincial, and there were more teams. And actually, the level of play, I was quite surprised how many good teams were playing. And we kind of discussed, and I realized that there was an interest to play more than just playing the provincial and maybe one more. So I said, well, would you guys like to have a tour or something like that, like more and more events? Somebody would help me in hosting events? And then, the next day I already we were running maybe already 4 spiels, just the next day. They just needed they need some, guidance and how to do it and how to bring the teams. And with a tour like that, when I called Andrew Brett at Goldline and told him, would you like to be part of this Goldline tour? He said, oh yeah, for sure, right away. So, this is great for Goldline. It's a Goldline tour. So it's great for Goldline. It's great for the curlers. And also it's about having, for the players, a format that they know every time they'll play a Goldline tour. I know it's not the same in Ontario, but in Quebec with the Goldline tour, every time you play a tournament, it's going to be supposed to be the same amount of teams. The prize money will look pretty much the same. It's the same structure, the same format. So it starts on a Friday at 6 all the time. It finishes finals around on Sunday at 4. So you know exactly, it's like ordering a Big Mac at McDonald's. You know exactly what it's going to taste. So, and with this new format that I must admit I stole from my good friend the Cottrells. By the way, congratulations to them for their young kids and the new little baby.
Exciting times there for sure.
Great picture on Facebook. I mean, it's a format that I love. 16 teams, and then you play four pools of four, and then top 8 will go to play competitive section, and then bottom 8 will play consolation. So it's 4 games guaranteed, and everybody plays on Sunday. So when you enter a tournament, I remember when I was young, it's a long time ago, that I was like, if we play on Sunday, it's a success. So now everybody succeeds at the Goldline Tour because they all play on Sunday. So I say it's a format of happiness. So yeah, I think people enjoy it, and it's not too much about the prize money. Of course, by doing it this way, like the money is more split over, but everybody gets happy. And there's not so many teams in the Goldline Tour that will really play to try to get a lot of money. What they want is to compete, get points on the rankings for eventually maybe having more than one team from Quebec at the national going in with the points, and play great curling at a format that they love. The only one that the prize this weekend will be good, though, in Jacques Cartier with $6,000 in prize money. That's pretty decent because this format, the last of the year, I've got a bit more money to run it because every tournament we keep a $20 to prepare the final, so we can give back the entire entry fee.
So yeah, this event is the championship event that was supposed to run at the end of last season.
Exactly.
You've managed to put it together to start this season, and I think it's exciting to see the field you got. One of the things that I really love seeing out of what you're doing there is there are so many names I've never seen listed in curling before.
Well,
they mostly play in clubs or they play in the Spiel circuit and at a lower level in Quebec, but you've managed to pull them out and get them competing at the competitive level. And I think that's amazing for the sport. We're seeing 16 teams on a number of weekends competing around Quebec, and especially in a province that has struggled a little bit at developing the sport at times.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. We're getting to, we have a decent base number of teams now. I wanted to do the exercise, but I didn't have time yet. But I wanted to see how many teams are playing at least 3 events per year. But it might be close to 8 teams. So basically, when you open the tournament, we already know the top 8 teams will probably be there. This weekend, especially, it's really strong. The team with Steve Villeneuve and Ginette Simard, as an example, they are the lowest team in my pool.
Yeah.
Because they've only played 1 tournament last year, but they could win the Spiel. And they're the bottom team in my section. Steve was the men's player was my lead at the Brier in 2012, and Ginette they just won the provincial seniors. She's playing third with Isabelle Néron. So they're both really good. And last time we played them, they beat us. So you see, that's the depth that we have now. Honestly, this weekend, out of the 16 teams, I think 14 of them could easily win this field.
That's really amazing to see, and I think that's where we really need to do a lot more work with our sport in a number of different regions. We've seen this. I've experienced this personally with the Ontario Curling Tour and how we built that back in the day. It's all about building the competitive depth at the bottom. You need a good base of teams to support growing bigger events. The teams that have some points coming in then help make those events more valuable at the same time too. And I know that's something you strive to work for, and you're looking forward to the day that you can host some major tour events in Quebec. And I'm looking forward to see the future and what comes out of everything in the Goldline Mixed Doubles Tour.
Well, we've got Curling Saguenay Inc., which is a non-profitable organization that I'm the president of, and we were the one who ran the national mixed last year in Saguenay, and eventually it might be something that we might look at. You have a huge mixed double event that we could run in an arena. It's not out of the picture, if I can get sorry, if I can get a good 16 teams from Quebec and then maybe we could run like a 32 team triple KO in an arena and get big money, and then be able to convince those Jones and Lang and Gallen to come, my good friend Brett. You know, get these people to come in Saguenay for a big spiel. I know you need to get the big prize money to bring them over, and I can understand that. You know, they're used to get a good check when they curl. It's okay, but we're trying. It's something that's not impossible. Sponsorship though is tough in Quebec. That's one big issue. But you know, the CCA, they have a lot of money, like own the podium stuff, and I mean, they could decide eventually to try to, you know, help the people who actually start and own these tour that we have. You know, if they give a bit money, then we maybe can host bigger events or stuff like that. It's not out of the picture, but it's a slow growth. For the moment, it's more about like the volume. We've got 8 tournaments this year since the tour final. There's going to be 2 tour finals this year because of the one we're playing this weekend. So it's a success to us. It's a success. But eventually, to get it's tough. It's tough for Quebec players, mixed double players, to pay a big entry fee. You know, if I run a tournament, that's $500 entry fee. It's really, really tough to get 16 teams. It's really, really tough. It's not.
Yeah, that just comes down to building your depth of teams, right? Getting teams on the ice, playing, experiencing the game, getting better at the game. That's one of the things that I don't think people realize happens when you run a lot of tournaments like this, is that the players are actually competing and throwing lots of rocks in games. You get better.
Oh yeah. Well, as an example, even I mean, I'm a Quebec curler, and Pierre Lanoux, I didn't really know this name. Okay, I've seen the guy a couple times. He played on a men's team at one point, but I didn't even know the guy. And honestly, he is one of the top 4, top 5 men's player in mixed double in Quebec. This guy is really good. He reads the ice well, and nobody knew. So you know, I was starting my tournament. I was doing the seedings, and he was like, every time he was like third in the pool. He qualified every event he played on the tour, every time. And he's played at least 6 or 7. And he was not even playing all the time with the same player. So now I know he's one of the favorites. But nobody knew that guy. I didn't even know he was good. You know, that's what you say, like we discover stuff. And yeah, honestly, we have a good depth. And now there's some interest for these teams because they know the format being what it is. Well, by the way, let's talk about this, Jerry. Do you think eventually that the CCA will simply use the World Curling Federation ranking that you are taking care of right now instead of this pretty strange, based on how much money you pay on the entry fee to get the points? Like right now, if the tournament you pay $400, it gives a ton of points. If the tournament you pay 120 to play, you don't get much points. But I mean, you could play I did play a $400 tournament in Toronto where they almost put all the money in food and entertaining. I don't mind it, but it was not even in the prize money. And the field was not stronger than some tournaments I've played with only $120 entry fee. So do you think it might change with the next Olympic cycle?
Yeah, I think there's some evolution and learning as to what Curling Canada needs to do with mixed doubles. Like, obviously, they're trying to figure out how to fit what they consider their elite athletes, the best players in the game, who pretty much all play 4-player right now, and trying to figure out how to keep them or encourage them to play mixed doubles as well. And so, they're sort of bastardizing the system a little bit by using some of the 4-player points in the past, by figuring out how to make it possible for these teams to qualify for nationals without playing a full season of mixed doubles. And I know that's a frustration for a team like you. I've talked to the Cotterells about this. Players that have pretty much dedicated much of their curling to mixed doubles. So there's certainly political challenge around it. They're trying to figure out a solution that fits to their objectives, which is putting the 2 best curlers on the ice at the Olympics. Though I know there's a lot of difficult decisions and problems with trying to make that happen.
Well, that one thing I want to say about this, like in the last Olympic, some people will say that what they did worked, right? Because we
Yeah, they
won the
won,
gold.
right? It's hard to argue that it
Won the
didn't
gold.
work when you take home the gold.
But what people do not know is that at that point, Jean Maurice had played every one but one Canadian championship in mixed doubles, and
Yeah.
it's exactly the same team for Clayton Laws. So when they won, to me, this was a mixed double teams because they did show interest in that mixed double game. They didn't just show up at the last minute because, oh my God, there's another chance to go to the Olympics.
Yeah, that was seemed to be
They
the
were looking
storyline that played
double
out of
for
it because
also.
of the
That was
way the
very
team formed, right?
What's that?
I think there was a lot of storyline that played out of that in the Olympics based on the way the team formed. That John's original partner Rachel Homan qualified in the four-player, so he was without a regular player, and now I think Caitlin was in the same boat, and so they came together and they played their first tournament together during the trials, and so that
Yeah, but
doesn't
then again,
necessarily play off so well. But I think you're right. I agree with you. John has been pretty dedicated into playing a fair bit of mixed doubles. And, the other thing that sort of came out of the Olympics, when you started looking at the teams that were there were three athletes with Olympic experience. John Morris and Caitlin Laws were two of them. That in itself is an advantage over the field when you've been there, done that, won the gold before, so you know the expectations too. So it'll be interesting to see what 2022 in Beijing brings for mixed doubles and what the game looks like there.
yeah, you're right. I agree. It's yeah, but then just making sure that I mean they have to find a way to make sure that even if they're top curlers, I understand that they need to play like a minimum of mixed doubles because it's not the same game. I know you say you still throw the same rocks and whatever, but you never know what ice conditions you'll get. Of course, if it's Mark Shurik doing the ice at the Olympics, I don't have any problems with sending any two slammers there because we know exactly how the ice is gonna.
Hmm.
But then again, I've played some championship where the ice was not fantastic at all. Where the variations on the ice were more related to what we usually see when we play mixed doubles than the variations on the ice that we see when we play a regular 4-on-4 game. As an example, when we played the last Olympic trial, those sheets of ice were just exceptional. There was almost no difference when throwing like middle of the 8 foot or edge of the 12 foot in terms of weight. But
Yeah.
usually in mixed doubles, especially in the first few ends, you'll get about a 20 feet, 25 feet difference by throwing in the middle of the 8 and the middle of the 12 foot. So basically, when we played the last trial, the ice was perfect for the slammers. I mean, it was exactly the same as when they play on 4-on-4, but it's not what we
Yeah.
usually get when we play mixed doubles. But I know they can adapt pretty fast. I'm not saying that we're better than Gushu and Sweeting, but the thing is, I don't think I have absolutely nothing against Val and Brad. They're great people, but I was happy to see that Johnny Mo won it and then Caitlin because they did play mixed doubles.
Yeah.
It made more sense.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think that is a good analysis of the way things played out, and I think some of it's just the growth of the game, right? Like mixed doubles is so new. There's still a lot to learn on the tactics side and the specialization side, the things that will make mixed doubles players and the specialists actually have that advantage once you start getting more of those athletes with more experience. And then the difference isn't just how you throw the rock. Then there's so much more that goes into it, and I think once we get to that point, we'll see the sport start to have some bigger prizes inside of it as teams sort of have to dedicate themselves more to the game.
Well, I hope this is going to go this way, but I'm not certain about that.
It
Um,
will eventually. It will get
yeah,
there.
yeah,
It's
well,
just a matter of how long, right? As international teams start to focus on it, some of the programs out there are going to put their best players towards mixed doubles. When you have an opportunity to win a medal in a discipline, and maybe some of these smaller countries are developing a couple of great athletes, you're better off focusing them at mixed doubles than four player as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's already happening a lot in many countries. As an example, Hungary has won the world championship a few times already at mixed
Mm-hmm.
doubles. And because we don't know those players, we don't know their names because they don't play in men's and women's. It doesn't mean they're not great, especially in those countries where they almost only have people that will specialize in mixed doubles, and then they'll get the money and develop. Like in Canada, it could be the way we decide to go. We could decide to grow this mixed double thing by giving big time money on young curlers that decide to specialize on it, and moving forward, eventually they'll be the one that will eventually be at the Olympics. The thing is, right now, what I think is, if we keep trying to go both directions at the same time, it is tough to grow the mixed double on it by itself. It's
Yeah.
like, if you want an event to be big, then you have to have the big names in it. But I don't know. We need to find a company that will be interested in starting mixed double slams, and then that'll just mean there's just too many for those men and women's team to play.
Yeah.
So then the mixed double specialized teams will get better because they'll be able to play on these great ice conditions and play the best people from around the world at the same time. And I think it's one way to do it, but like in the Grand Slam, we need to find that big sponsor that'd be willing to make a step, and not necessarily with only the big names playing men's and women's, but to make sure that people get to know those mixed double teams. And there are some of them that are really, really good and really enjoyable to watch. So once people start to look at it, they'll probably say, well, it's just as great as the men's and women's. So uh, it's not going to be easy, but I don't know if it's the right thing to do to keep trying to go with both direction at the same time. I'm not certain this is the best way to make it grow.
Yeah, I think we've seen that in Canada, where mixed doubles has sort of taken some time to catch on as a discipline. I know it's a lot of people sort of poo-poo on the discipline to a degree, but during the last Olympics, I think it was pretty obvious how exciting the game was, how fast-moving it is, and how it's different. It's a new version of the sport that brings new excitement to the sport. And the way we should be looking at this as an opportunity to sort of fill gaps and holes in curling club schedules, trying to get more people on the ice, transitioning, and figuring out how to make our sport a little bit more fast moving, a little bit more exciting. And in that realm, we're still celebrating four player. Just because we run more mixed doubles stuff doesn't mean we are getting rid of four player either.
No, absolutely. And the thing is, for curler that will start the game, it's way more interesting to play mixed doubles. You
Yeah.
throw more rocks. You can. I mean, the pace is fast, as you said. So, and this is one mistake that we're doing. Like in the curling clubs with the junior programs. I mean, every time they play a game, they should at least do half the time mixed double format, half the time regular format, because it's really exciting. There's lots of rocks in play. It's really fast, and it's never boring. Mixed double is never boring. You don't get those hands. Oh my God. Oh, the rock slip in the house. So
And
you
over,
don't need
right?
the next 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it's certainly exciting. I think I'm going to wrap things up here, but I really appreciate your time, Bob. I'm looking forward to following along this weekend. We'll have live scores on Curling Zone all weekend and throughout the season from the Goldline Mixed Doubles Tour. Excited to host your events and a number of other events that you're working on there, men's and women's or open events in Quebec to keep teams playing. And anyways, we'll be following along, and I'd like to thank you. Little shout out to any of your sponsors, Bob.
yeah,
Let us know who some of your great supporters are.
Yeah, if you let me go on this. Thank you to Hotel Le Montagnet, who's been sponsoring me for a long time, especially my mixed double teams. And Jacques Rondeau from Investors Group has been with me for 25 years now, I think. So thanks so much to Jacques. And also a big thanks to everybody that helps me on the Goldline Tour. You know, I'm not organizing all these stuff. I'm just dealing with the global thing, but most curling clubs, I've got great people working with me. I've got Bruno Saunier in Sherbrooke. I've got Marie-Claude Como, Simon Hébert working with me. I've got Thierry Fournier taking care of the Quebec area, Sonny Melançon in the Amos area. So thanks to all of you guys. And I hope I forgot Roger Lavoie from Clermont also. So all these guys, without them, there would be absolutely no Goldline Tour. So, and the last thing, of course, the Goldline, which I'm the Quebec representative. If you need any curling equipment, give me a call.
There you go. All right. Thanks a lot, Bob. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
Sure. It's a pleasure.